you have emotions stuck in your body and you're ready to release them. Fantastic. How do you do that? Hi, I'm Miriam and I teach emotional intelligence skills. Welcome to EI for Life. In this video, I'm going to share the 2 techniques I used to release stuck emotions. Some of these emotions have been stuck in my body for decades, not exaggerating. Okay, so first a little bit of a recap. I have a much longer video explaining how emotions get stuck in the body. In this one, I'm just going to quickly tell you that there's a connective tissue going all through our body. It's called the fascia. Emotions move through this connective tissue. They are supposed to run their course. They're supposed to lead to certain actions. When we suppress those actions, or suppress even just allowing the emotion at all, that's when they get stuck. What that means is the fascia in a particular area dries up and layers of fascia stick together. So these are stuck emotions, literally physically stuck emotions. And that means when you want to release them, you need to open up these old pathways. You need to open up these blocks. You need to unstick the fascia. Very physical. All right, how do you do that? You lubricate and move the fascia. It needs to be squeezed and squished. Because if you just drink water, it cannot actually get into these tight areas. They're not open enough to receive new water. They also have stagnant old water in there that you'd really, really, really want to flush out. And in order to do that, you gotta move, squeeze, repeat, move, squeeze, repeat. Drink a lot of water. Here are the 2 techniques I used to do just that. Number 1, Yin Yoga. So Yin Yoga is the kind of yoga where you go into a yoga position, also called an asana, and you stay in it for a longer period of time. This allows the fascia to relax and lengthen. Yin Yoga can be practiced on different levels, and I'm going to explain each level and what it does to your fascia, to you, so you know what you're doing. If you've never done Yin Yoga before, you really need to start with the lowest level just to get used to it, because it can be quite intense. When you hold the position for less than 2 minutes, this is beginner's Yin, or up to 2 minutes, what this does to your fascia is it helps it hydrate and you maintain the flexibility you already have. It's great for maintenance. If you hold a position for 2 to 6 minutes, the fascia already lengthens and it releases mild tension. This is also great. This is mild and superficial tension. If you, like me, have emotions stuck in your body that have been in there for decades and have been accumulating over the years, you want to work deeper, on deeper layers, on deeper myofascial release. And for that, you need holds that are at least 6 minutes long, or maybe even longer. What this does, these stuck fascia layers, if you stay in the same position, very gradually separate. The nervous system also integrates, which means that you become calmer and you release other things. Like, it's never just stuck emotions. Emotions got stuck in the first place because you didn't allow yourself to take the kind of actions they wanted you to take. And because you started telling yourself stories about this emotion, why it's bad, why you shouldn't act on it, etc., etc., etc. So when you do Yin Yoga, all of these stories, they will come up. It's probably not pretty. It wasn't pretty in my case. So you want to be careful with 2 things when you do Yin Yoga. Avoid overstretching. Yin Yoga is not stretching yourself to your extreme. It's not stretching at all. Yin Yoga is getting into a position and then gradually relaxing into it. That's why it works on the fascia. Fascia does not react to force. It needs to be released and surrendered. You also need active presence. This is absolutely key. So you need to be aware. Yin Yoga is for the mind as much as for the body, which means you need to pay attention. Let's say you are in a pose that works with your hip. You need your attention, your focus on the hip. What's happening there? Is something trembling? Is something shaking? What's going on? You also want to notice the whole body, because just because you focus on the hip doesn't mean that the release only happens there. Fascia connects everything in your body. I have, just to give you an example, I was working with my hip in one class and my left shoulder started to twitch because the release happened there. It's all connected. So you want to be aware of it. And when you practice Yin Yoga, so towards the end, I would do Yin Yoga for at least an hour every single day. And that definitely helped with the myofascial release. And I always followed it up with Kundalini or Qi-gong. Why? Yin Yoga opens these pathways. Kundalini and Qi-gong helps you move those emotions, the ones that are stuck, actively out. Kundalini Yoga is very intense. It's very powerful. Qi-gong is slower. Why did I do either of those two? Because you got to learn to listen to your body. Your body knows exactly what you need. On some days I felt like a very strong strengthening release. On other days I needed Qi-gong for a slower release. I will post links to my favorite teachers on YouTube. Put them in the description as well. All right. Always listen to your body. Always ease up in Yin. Always. Start slow, work your way up. And that's one way of myofascial release. It's how I started. That was my first technique. I'm currently focusing more on the second technique, but the first one, still awesome. And the second technique is walking. Now, when you walk, this works on the fascia because the fascia likes repetition. It likes, rhythmic movement. Walking is fantastic for that. Short walks, up to 30 minutes, they maintain and hydrate the fascia. So they prevent stiffness and they keep the layers mobile, which is fantastic. But again, they don't really help with stuck areas. Medium walks, 30 to 60 minutes, so up to an hour, they mobilize and they do release adhesions. They also lengthen the fascia a little bit and they encourage circulation. That's great. If you want active remodeling of the fascia, so of these pathways, active new pathways for your emotions, then you need to walk for 2 hours, around 2 hours. Because this allows your body to remodel, it releases adhesions, and it lengthens your fascia. If you do this regularly, you have lasting change. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing very long walks because I'm working with a very deep layer of fascia and I'm releasing a very deep emotion from my body. That means more than 3 hours long. That's how long my walks are. Usually around 3 hours and 15 minutes, sometimes 3.5 hours. Now what this does, it allows very deep fascial reshaping. It allows integration across chains. So fascia comes in these sheets or chains that go from the top of your head to your feet, and it allows long-term change. Now, what you want to bear in mind is that breaks are just as essential as working actively with your fascia because the integration happens during the breaks. You can totally daydream on your walks, but the more attention you pay to your fascia, the better. But what you definitely want to do is you want to pay attention in the break periods. So, for example, I never ever walked 3+ hours 2 days in a row. I didn't do that because that would be too much. You got to be careful with your fascia because it can become inflamed if you overstress it. You can also not rush the process. It is slow because it needs to release in layers. So you need to release your blocks in layers. It takes time. You want to be patient and you want to take those breaks. Pay attention, be aware during the breaks. Notice what's tingling, notice what's trembling, notice what comes up. Notice the stories that suddenly appear in your mind and notice how long they've been there. So awareness is absolutely key. All right, this is how I released blocks in my fascia, how I'm still releasing blocks in my fascia. And now I have a bonus tip. Sleep. Sleep in weird positions. Sleeping in weird positions allows your body to actually relax and release certain tensions in your fascia overnight, literally. When you start the active fascia work with Yin Yoga and walking, you will notice that you might want to suddenly sleep in odd positions. Allow yourself to do that. Very important. Your body knows how to release these blocks. What got in our way was the stories other people told us, the way they taught us to behave. That's it. That's what got in the way. All you got to do is let go of the old and allow your body to unblock your fascia. And that's how I did it. If you have any questions, ask in the comments. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking the time to unblock your emotions. It's always wonderful when people bother to actually do this work, because when you are happier and healthier and feel better about yourself, you become a positive force in this world. So thank you very much for being you.